Solo festival. You? Great. Plants just hanging out. Demo plans? I probably should, huh? So again, our first gather, we just want to go in about 1.5 to 2 times deep as the gathering tool is wide. Nolan, right? We're going to work on that today, not gathering so deep. So when we do our starter bubble here, you're going to start shaping from the back of the moil towards the tip of the pears in. And again, we're going for that golden ratio of 1.5 times as long as it is wide.
Right.
Again, just nice, long, smooth rotations. Give it a few hundred. Doing around the studio for the day, I've had maybe we can gather I need those times a day.
I'm going to get in real close there,
Yep.
Derek.
So what that ratio does when you get that right is you get the nice even sidewalls, slightly thicker towards the end of the bubble. So yes, our second gathers now. We're going to go in, find our depth, just set it kind of right to the back of our first gather, do 2 or 3 rotations, and on a glass, you're kind of going to pull out like this instead of coming up like that. That's going to it's going to kind of pull that glass off and just give me a nice even coating of glass.
Oops, sorry, man.
Huh? Ghost, I'm telling you. So as you can see, if you get a nice even coating, you don't even have to do a whole lot to shape it up. So just use your block or your paper after your gather to just evenly coat your first gather with the fresh gather of glass. And I don't want to start blowing right away because I want to even all that glass out. It's a lot colder on the inside than it is on the outside. Nice deep heat. We'll come back and shape it one more time. Remember, I'm using the moil as my foundation, and I'm always starting with the moil, working towards the tip. Alright, so got it blown out pretty evenly now. So I'm just going to show them just how to do it, like without even anyone helping. So since I got it a nice even coating, I can just come out I can just let it stretch out and blow as I'm turning, making sure it's on center, and it's going to blow the sides out. And then I can start my neckline. So what we're going for is that nice egg shape with the even thickness on the sidewalls, slightly thicker on the bottom. Nice egg shape. Getting my neckline squeezed in so it's tighter than the head of the blowpipe. And again, when I'm rolling, especially when I'm cutting my neckline in, I'm not just picking a speed and rolling because it's just going to fly off center. I'm always watching the tip of my bubble, and I'm always trying to keep that on center. I'm just making little adjustments to keep that on center as I'm cutting my neckline in. So I'm just letting my neckline cool off a little bit now. Then we'll do our selective heat. So again, I'm thinking about kind of right in the center of the door of our glory hole as where the heat starts and where it ends. So I want to keep my neckline on this side of that doorway. Just heat up the bottom half of the bubble. I'm switching directions as I'm turning too, so it's not twisting up on me. That's going to allow me to get a lot more heat in there compared to if I just turned in one direction. Because that bubble was blown out nice and even, I don't really have to do a whole lot. It's just going to just stretch out evenly. Couple light puffs. And it doesn't even need a whole lot of work on the sides because it was pretty even to begin with. Okay, so we got the top done, we got the sides done. Now we want to flash it, but then we want to do our selective heat on just the very bottom so we can focus that heat on the bottom. We don't want our sidewalls to be moving around when we try to flatten the bottom. Heat flash, and then we're going to hit just the very bottom in the heat there.
So would you say the bottom is the only thing that's inside the glory hole right now?
Yeah. And because this hole is so hot, I'm not even really going in there. I'm kind of like right at the door. This hole is a little hotter than you'd really want. So again, just nice. It's nice and hot, so I'm barely pushing. So that's what you guys need to work on, is working a little hotter, more efficiently. So I'm just working on the bottom, working on the sides. The bottom kicks in, give it a little puff. Finish that so it just kind of kicks in just a little bit. And that's about it. So it all looks the same, but it's much hotter on the bottom than the top, right? So I want to just give it some good flashes, and then we'll transfer, trying to even out the temperature. So when you're flashing, waiting for your punny, we're just going in nice and deep, right? We want to get that oil all the way into the heat for about 5 seconds, then come all the way out to the bench. Come out for, otherwise it blows up, yes. We've all had it happen. So I'm starting to see a little more color back here now. I can see that it's just barely starting to move at the neckline. That's how we know we got a nice little amount of heat there. Keep it alive. But it's not hot enough to lose the shape that I just worked on making. So are you guys starting to like kind of see that color? See the difference? It's very subtle, but like you're seeing that just little bit of red in the oil.
Definitely.
That's all stuff you need to start looking for. All right, guys, coming in. Where's the tweezies?
Oh, here they are.
Nolan's been hiding them on you. Thanks, Nolan.
Well, you left them
I did?
back there. Yes.
Are you sure you didn't hide them?
Yes, I'm sure.
All right, again, don't. So he's got that nice dome there. I'm not jamming that thing on there. I just want to start out slow and judge by, as I'm putting it on, how hot that glass is. And that's going to kind of determine how much I push it on. And again, we just need one little drop of water because we got a nice little neckline and just a light tap.
How do you know when it's hot enough to take out?
I can kind of see when it breaks off. I can kind of see all those kind of sharp, jagged corners where it broke off. I can already tell it's starting to smooth out now. And I got a real small hole, so I gotta. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna let it close up so I can show you guys how to deal with that. So as that glass heats up, it's contracting, and it's gonna completely close off my bubble. So I'll show you how to deal with that, because I don't think I've showed you guys that yet. Okay, as you can see, I lost my opening. So what you're going to do is take your tweezers, close your tweezers, push in, spread, and pull out. Now, it doesn't work if there's wax on them, unfortunately.
That's how you want to do it. Need me to de-wax the tweezers?
That's also because they don't line up.
Oh.
Yeah, and Touch the trim. There you go. Yeah, toss them down there. I'll try those again. Though. It might work better now. So you want to just heat up that, well, it already opened up on me now. Cause, see, that was already enough to just spread it and thin the glass out where I was doing that. And then when I went back into the heat, as the air expanded, it popped the bubble. But so the idea was I'm gonna go in the tip with the tweezers squeezed together. You go in, open as you're pulling out. You want to be careful not to push it in further. So you're going in, opening as you're pulling out, turn, open as you're pulling out, and you're just spreading and thinning out the glass right there until it'll, even at the bench, it'll just pop open.
Okay. You're gonna trim too?
Yeah, I'll trim it. Once you learn how, you go like
Switch to autofocus.
Again, remembering to flash our funny, then do our selective heat on our lip. So when we're going to trim, again, we don't want to have too wide of a diameter. So that was getting a little wide, so I'm actually pulling towards the center of axis, so I have a smaller circumference to get around. All right, again, so probably go for it on this one. So our first time around, I'm just kind of chilling out the glass. Now I can start to pull a little bit, and that's going to thin out the glass right here on the funny side of the pinches. Now I've been talking too much, so I'll get a quick heat. But so the idea is we're trying to thin that glass out, so you can see the difference between the glass right here and the glass right here. So you're chilling where you're pinching, go around a couple times, then slowly start pulling. I'm not making big, huge, long pulls because I want it to pull out as evenly as possible. If I were to just start pulling right away without kind of chilling at the top there, it's just going to only stretch out at the very tip, and it's still going to stay thick where I'm going to trim to. The thinner you pull the glass out to, the less time you have to trim it before it gets cold. What?
Oldies day. Music.
Oh, yeah. Classics.
Yeah.
It's a fine cut.
flared cup. Alright, let's throw a handle on there. Let's show you guys a different type of handle. Let's do like a Roman handle. Nice little point. Or like, you know, the tweezers. Oh yeah, so you just want like a straight, regular handle, bottom. You know where you push down on the marble with your tweezers to make the. Oh, that is I'll show you the different the hot bit.
So Phil, tell me about this gather for the handle.
This is the first of 2 gathers, and I'm only marbling it if I have to. Basically, if you're under control, you just want to let that gather sort of cool down without really touching it at all. That way, when you go in for your second gather, it's going to heat up a little nicer. It'll heat up a little more evenly, be nicer to work. So I'm just letting this get stable before gathering again. Show them the push it down and then bring it over. Now we're going to show you another way to use your tools to manipulate the glass, give you a different look for in this case, the handle. We use the marber and the tweezers. The marber is going to flatten one side of it. The tweezers are going to make a nice ridge in there. So this is called a Roman handle.
Oh, alright.
So now, because we've flattened that handle out, I'm not going to turn like I normally would. A round bubble or something spherical, I'm going to flip it, exactly.
Alright.
That's because otherwise it'll get twisted.
Oh,
So I'm just flipping, trying to keep it even towards you, the ridges. Okay. Make sure I got a good connection. Pull up. Again, you can stretch it. If that's too thick, I can go and make it a little, probably use that. So I'll get about a heat or two to shape that up. If you don't get it in the right shape in the first couple heats, when you go and start to reheat this, my cup's going to start moving too much. I'm going to lose the shape of my cup. The weight of this handle is going to start pulling on my cup. So that's pretty much all I really get to work with that. Maybe one more. Alright. Alright. That's about it for that. So before I go knock it off, flashing, right? I want to have some movement in my punny. I want to feel that movement. And it's already moving, so I'm pretty much good to go. Yeah, we'll box it.
You've got to box it.
I did, the ridge is on the outside. That'll work too. See, look at that nice break off there. With that, when you have that nice dome punny with that sort of infinite vanishing point going into the connection.
Punchy fill. It's like Punxsutawney fill, only shorter.
And that goes to your room.